number 4, that is the total activities of a cells are responsible for the activity of an organism. इसका मतलब क्या है? And you were not able to understand that. So what does it mean actually? इसका मतलब ऐसा होता है कि we all know cell is a basic unit of life. Why we are calling it as a unit? Because the cell itself, जो एक cell है, itself is having so many processes going on inside it. Because हर एक सेल के पास न्यूक्लियस होता है, हर एक न्यूक्लियस में डीएनए होता है, एंड डीएनए इज बेसिकली रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ द एक्टिविटीज. नाउ यू विल से हाउ, because DNA actually codes for a, so DNA contains different genes and genes code for a protein. So we all know हमारे बॉडी में जितने भी रिएक्शंस होते हैं, they are actually catalyzed by different enzymes, they are actually performed by or carried out by different proteins, there are different other components as well, right? So हर एक cell actually somehow contributing and carrying out different activities. So let's take an example कि okay, अगर सेल के पास ग्लूकोज है, okay, so each and every cell will be involved in catabolizing the glucose. So what is the catabolism of glucose? We call it as a glycolysis. तो वो हर एक सेल क्या करेगा, वो ग्लूकोज को ब्रेक डाउन करेगा टू गेट एन एनर्जी, टू प्रोड्यूस एनर्जी, और जो एनर्जी हर एक सेल बनाएगा दैट विल बी अल्टीमेटली यूटिलाइज फॉर डिफरेंट बॉडी फंक्शंस. तो इट्स नॉट लाइक कि कुछ सेल्स एक्टिव है कुछ सेल्स इनएक्टिव है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. ईच एंड एवरी सेल इज एक्टिव अनलेस एंड अंटिल वो क्विजेंट स्टेट में या क्यू नॉट स्टेट में. व्हाट इज क्यू नॉट स्टेट? सो इन सेल डिवीजन आई डोंट नो तुम लोग का कंप्लीट हुआ है नहीं हुआ है.
Yes, हुआ है complete. जी.
Yeah. So in that you must have, sorry, there is a G1 phase, there is a S phase, G2 phase, M phase. But between the G1 phase and the S phase, there are always the chances that the cells can undergo G naught state. What is G naught state now? Because in that particular state, cells are generally metabolically inactive. We can say that they cannot, like they are not really inactive, but they cannot replicate further. But वो active रहते हैं basically. So such cells may not be involved in some certain activities, but then like they may not be involved in replication, but they also still perform some kind of activity. So the whole point of saying these things are each and every cell in a body is involved in different metabolic processes. और ये जो metabolic process है, maybe it can be breakdown of glucose or gaining energy और producing energy, या फिर जो energy बना है उसको वापस utilize करना, ये सब में हर एक सेल इन्वॉल्व होता है. and that's why they had claimed that the total activity जो भी हम लोग कर रहे हैं, like even if I am able to raise my hand, it means I am putting up the energy, right? So even that typical energy which is required is contributed by all the cells. It's not something like कि कुछ ही cell contribute कर रहे हैं. So that's what they are trying to convey. The total activity of the cells are responsible for the activity of an organism. तो जितना भी हम लोग बॉडी में cells active रहेंगे, all of them will be contributing towards the activity, no matter what kind of activity. But it will be actively contributing towards the different body functions. So I hope now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Great. So now the next point was asked by what is the cell, how, like what does it mean that the cell shows transformation of energy. तो मैंने कल भी एक बात बोला था about the law of conservation of energy. What does it mean? The energy cannot be created, cannot be destroyed, but it can be always transferred from the one system to the next system. So just following the same thing here, whatever energy we are getting, it's always get transformed. Now how? So let's say for a source, as a source of energy, what we are doing, we are eating a food. मैंने खाना खाया. Now what will happen? My body will break down the whatever food I had taken. It will get processed, digested, like that digested means it will get break down to the simpler forms, and then finally it will get absorbed in my body. अभी एक बार जो बॉडी ने एब्जॉर्ब किया, now this entire food whatever we are providing or whatever we are taking as a source, हम लोग ने तो ले लिया एज अ फूड, बट नॉट माई सेल्स कैनॉट टेक इट एज अ डायरेक्टली. ओके ग्लूकोज लिया तो मैं ग्लूकोज को ऐसे कैसे करके उसको एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट कर लूंगा. नॉट लाइक दैट, राइट? दे हैव टू प्रोसेस द ग्लूकोज फर्दर, they have to process the amino acids or let's say proteins further, or let's say I'm taking the fats, they have to process the fats further, they have to break down it so that they will get an energy. So the same thing. So whenever let's say I'm having a glucose, my body will break down the glucose to get an energy. So जो भी energy था in a form of glucose, the cells will take out the energy from a glucose and they will save it in a form of ATP. Generally we store in a form of ATP. Now what happens, अभी मेरे body के पास ATP के form में energy है. Now I want to do some heavy exercise or I am doing some physical activities for which I need a high amount of energy. So now under this conditions, what will happen? Whatever stored form of ATPs I am having, they will get utilized. मतलब जो ATP था, वो again they will get utilized and my body will use up the ATP. अभी this is the one case. Another case is like sometimes क्या होता है, जो glucose हम लोग खाते हैं, as I mentioned in my last lecture, कुछ glucose is like is excess of glucose. We don't require that much at a one time. तो body क्या करेगा? It will not waste it. Rather, it will store it in a form of glycogen in a liver. So whenever the energy is required, what will happen? The glycogen will again break down into glucose. Glucose will then enter the glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and the other like metabolic pathways, and it will provide me energy. So this is the way the body is actually obtaining energy by like transforming the forms. So whenever we require energy, so basically what is happening? Energy is not getting destroyed or anything like that. We are just transforming the energy from let's say glycogen to glucose, glucose to ATP. वापस ATP को हम use करते हैं for forming the food again, and that cycle keep on going. So that's what they were trying to say, that the cells are actually showing the transformation of energy, that we actually have energy in a form of ATP, and this cycle of anabolism and catabolism, मतलब खाना बनाना, खाना break down करना, is actually keep on going in our body. And that is why it is said that the cell shows transformation of energy. And these particular reactions are always in a equilibrium, we can say. It's not like कि जब मन किया मैं break down करूंगा, जब मन किया मैं बनाऊंगा. Not like that. It's like it is already balanced. So even though तुम लोग किसी random time पे like if you are not having enough food in a day, or if you are following a typical different pattern of eating, the body will make sure that कि तुम्हारा जो सिस्टम है internally, that will work properly. No matter तुमने जो morning का breakfast you do at 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock, that doesn't matter even, because the body will make sure it will start breaking down the glycogen, it will start arranging somehow. However, whenever you are eating up the food, it will just compensate कि जो भी हमने पहले utilize किया था उसको cover up करने के लिए. I hope I'm not confusing you, but you are getting what I'm trying to say.
हेलो सर,
हाँ,
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू, पर आपने बोला ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ एनर्जी, तो वो एनर्जी हर बार मतलब एक अमाउंट पे पास होगा कि कम ज्यादा होगा वो एनर्जी?
It depends. So basically, when I talk about the energy in a cell, generally we talk in terms of the ATP, that is the adenosine triphosphate. So that's why ATP is generally considered as the energy currency of a cell. उसको ऐसे ही बोलते हैं हम लोग. So that is actually currency of a cell. So depending on the fact कि कभी-कभी for some reactions I may require higher number of ATPs. However, for some reactions I may not require a large number of ATPs. Even they can be processed with a small energy. So depending on what type of reaction and what type of transformation it is, the energy levels may vary.
यस सर, समझा.
Yeah. Anything else?
नो
So,
सर.
yeah, one more thing I would like to add here. So let's take अगर मुझे glucose को break down करना है. Okay. So in this case, the amount of energy which is obtained from glucose is always same. So मैं glucose को break down करूँगा by 3 steps. Generally there are 3 steps of metabolizing the glucose. We call them as a glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and ETS, that is the electron transport system. So whenever I am breaking down the glucose, the number of ATPs which are obtained from that one molecule of glucose will always be 38 ATPs in case of aerobic respiration. However, in case of anaerobic respiration, the number of ATPs will always be 2 ATPs. So this is a fixed number. Okay.
यस सर.
Yeah. Great. So that's what it is. Is there any other doubt with respect to the modern cell theory?
नो.
The two girls who had asked doubts yesterday, Himangi and Saili, तुम लोग convinced हो या you still want more clarification?
No, sir. No,
Great.
sir.
You just read about it once. I think तुम लोगों को समझ जाएगा. If you are not still convinced, feel free to ask. There is nothing to hesitate और ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मैं कितने बार पूछूं और you can ask me 100 times and that's fine for me.
Sir, what is mean by pre-existing cells?
So what is mean by pre-existing cell? So yeah, the same question was asked yesterday also by Ajinkya. So what is pre-existing cell? So what these people were saying कि हर एक बॉडी का लाइक हर एक लिविंग सिस्टम का बेसिक यूनिट वाज अ सेल, राइट? बट देन दे वर नॉट नोइंग दैट कि हर एक सेल ये सेल्स आता कहाँ पे है, राइट? बट देन व्हेन दे परफॉर्म सम काइंड ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स व्हाट दे ऑब्जर्व, अगर मेरे पास एक लिविंग सिस्टम है उसके पास अगर जो सेल्स है द सेल्स वर डिवाइडिंग डिवाइडिंग डिवाइडिंग, तो लेट्स से मेरे पास पहले एक ही सेल था, that one cell was dividing into two cells, that two will give me 4 cells, the 4 will give me 8 cells. तो जो मेरा सबसे पहला एक सेल था that will be considered as a pre-existing cell, मतलब जो पहले से मेरे पास था. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
But
Sir,
yeah,
sir, dead cells can be considered in pre-existing cells or not?
not really. So again there is a twist now, so that's why I told you yesterday also कि अगर हम लोग को और डिटेल में जाना है, so again the questions come ना, like it is very obvious कि फिर वो जो पहले सेल में जो बोल रहा हूँ जिसको मैं प्री एग्जिस्टेंस सेल कंसिडर कर रहा हूँ वो कहाँ से आया, राइट? दैट इज द रियल क्वेश्चन. इट्स एज सेम एज कि पहले मुर्गिया पहले अंडा टाइप ऑफ थिंग, कि पहले क्या बना था, वो जो पहले बना था वो कहाँ से आया फिर, दैट इज ऑलवेज अ क्वेश्चन, राइट? सो there is a very there are many theories which were proposed. You will learn this theories in the evolution chapter.
No, no, sir. Dead cells,
Sorry, can you repeat?
dead cell.
Dead cells, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So whenever you are saying dead cells, oh yeah, it is dead, but then it is still composed of what? It will still have a proteins, it will still have a carbohydrate, it will still have a lipid. It means उसके पास बायोमोलिक्यूल स्टिल रहेगा, बट दैट इज डेड, दैट इज इट इज मेटाबॉलिकली इनएक्टिव. नाउ वो किसी और को इट विल नॉट बी एबल टू गिव राइज टू द नेक्स्ट कंपोनेंट्स, लाइक नेक्स्ट स्टेज, समझ रहे हो? बट जब हम लोग इवोल्यूशन का थ्योरी देखेंगे, they had claimed that the first molecule which was like the cells जो हमारे पास जो सबसे पहला cells बना था, that were actually synthesized from, or we can say produced from these biomolecules only. सबसे पहले proteins बने थे, then RNA, then DNA, and then ये सब एक साथ उन लोग ने assemble करके like अपने आप nature में assembled हुआ, and then it gave us the first living cell. That's what the history says or evolution says. So that's why I'm trying to tell you the dead cells cannot give rise to any new cell basically. So that is a true thing right now because we could not prove that. But then the history says, evolution says that कि जो पहला cell बना था that was because of the assembly of a biomolecules only. So not to confuse you more, I understand तुम लोग शायद confuse हो रहे हो. So तुम्हारा question था कि dead cells can give rise to the living cells, मतलब आगे produce करेगा क्या? So the answer is no, it cannot produce.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, sir.
Great. So with this, I will continue with today's lecture. This is our second lecture. And in this lecture now, we studied about cells. We tried to understand the cell theory. We tried to understand the modern cell theory as well. अभी हम लोग को कुछ ना कुछ तो hints आ गया है कि वो क्या होता है cells का. Now we will go in depth about the different properties of a cell. So there are multiple properties. Already मैं discuss कर लिया था about the cells कि okay, मतलब it is involved in different functions. It has a typical structure, shape, and size, right? But one of the unique property of the cell is called as a totipotency. Now, what is totipotency? Best example yeah, how many of you know that, how many of you have heard something about the stem cells? There are many sorry, कुछ बोला किसी ने?
No.
Yeah, so I was saying about तुम लोगों ने देखा रहेगा around like on a TV or many advertisements are there about the stem cell storage or a preservation. So nowadays the couples are like who are having the like the I can say more advanced or modern type of couples, whenever they are having a baby, they will always think to preserve the stem cells of their babies, because it was claimed that the stem cells can be utilized further in case, let's say in case अगर future में the baby suffers from any particular disease, I can use the stored cells to recover them or to cure them from that disease, because it was claimed that and it is proved that the stem cells are having the ability to cure almost all types of diseases. Okay, almost all types of diseases in terms of the tissue damage, organ failure, or any particular types of like body problems, not something related to virus or bacteria, but then depending on the like other body, like we know, we all know kidney failure, liver failure, these are a very common problem, fractures, accidents, these are very common problems. So this such kind of things can be cured by using the stem cell. तो why these people are so concerned about कि हाँ मुझे मेरे बच्चे का stem cell store करना है, what is this stem cells, what and why it can give rise to the, or how it can be applicable in a future for all these applications क्यों करना है. So the stem cells are having some special properties, and totipotency is one of the properties. So what is totipotency? It is actually the capacity of a cell to differentiate and divide to form any other type of cell. I will repeat. ये ऐसा एक type of cell है that is very new type of cell. It is undifferentiated type of cell. But अगर मेरे पास ये एक cell है, from that cell I can make a liver cell, I can make a pancreatic cells, I can make a cardiac cell, I can make a skin cells, I can make a neurons, I can make a any other type of cell in a body. And ultimately, if I have a typical totipotent cells, I can make a whole new organism. That is the potential of these particular cells. Now, in our country and almost all over the world, the rule is like we cannot use the totipotent cell. So there are two reasons behind that. Very first thing, that the totipotent cell, so there are basically, okay, I will first explain you what is a like, so all these properties कौन से cells में होता है. So as I mentioned, it is the properties of a stem cells. So these are the cells which can give rise to any other type
Sir?
of cell. Yes.
Sir, it is divided to make, means that cells are divided to make the that kidneys and all. Therefore, it is known as totipotency.
Yes. So I will come to that point. Just hold on one point. I will tell you in more better way. तो मेरे पास stem cells है, and the stem cells can be of different types based on their differentiation potential. Okay. So जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि the cell can be divided into each or other type of cell. So अगर मेरे पास ऐसा cell है like this one type of stem cell which can be differentiated into each and every type of body and can have an ability to form the whole new organism, then such cells are called as totipotent stem cells. Okay, because they can form a whole new organism. I think that is the big thing. एक पूरा का पूरा organism बनाना in a lab is really a big thing. But then there are so many ethical issues, because you cannot make a whole new organism in a lab. That is against the nature. You cannot do such things, right? अगर ऐसा किसी ने किया, कल कोई भी कुछ भी लेके आएगा, they will just do some kind of mutation, some kind of genetic engineering, कुछ बड़ा सा monster बना दिया. No, you cannot do that. It is completely against the nature, and people are not favoring that. So in every community, so there are always like some are supporters and some are the one who actually oppose. Right? So the same goes in the scientific community as well. Some scientists they favor these things, some scientists they do not. So that was the one type of the cell, totipotent stem cells, which can give rise to the entire new organism. Okay, so ये जो cells totipotent stem cells ये कहाँ से मिलते हैं? So these are actually obtained from the embryos of a particular animal. So if I want a typical stem cells, totipotent stem cell to be more precise, I need to have an embryo with me. And the embryo may be like, and we are not supposed to use the embryo. Basically, you cannot use it. Embryo is considered as a life, like it is a living thing, right? Even though वो मतलब अपनी मम्मी के पेट में grow हो रहा है, it is not still born, but still it is a life, considered as a life, right? So you cannot take out the embryo and utilize it for such purposes, basically. And that's why it is banned in India, in almost all the countries. So we cannot use the embryonic stem cell. There are so many limitations for it. Still, some people do perform the stem cell studies, but those cells are not really a totipotent cells, but those are pluripotent, multipotent, and unipotent. So now what is the difference between the totipotent, pluripotent, multipotent and unipotent? तो जैसे कि मैंने बोला टोटीपोटेंट स्टेम सेल, तो ये चारों के चारों जो मैंने बोले टोटीपोटेंट, प्लूरिपोटेंट, मल्टीपोटेंट एंड यूनिपोटेंट, ये चारों के चारों are the types of stem cells only, which can give rise to different types of cells. But now depending on a type, उनका जो function है ना, that can be limited. So as I mentioned, the totipotent stem cells can give rise to the entire new organism, and it can differentiate into each and every type of the cells, body cells. Okay. Now what is the difference between the pluripotent? So the pluripotent stem cells can also give rise to each and every different types of cells, but it cannot form a new organism. मतलब वो दूसरा, वो हर कोई टाइप का सेल बना सकता है, but you will not really get the new organism out of it. तो तुम लोग वो सेल्स लेके उसको तुम लोग उससे तुम लोग कार्डियक से बना सकते हो. You can make a liver cell, you can make a bone cell, you can make a cartilage cell, you can make any other types of cells, but you cannot make a complete organism from the pluripotent cell. Then comes the multipotent cells. Yes, any doubt?
Sir, इसका example है ना?
Pluripotent stem cells are basically the cells obtained from the embryos again, but the later stage of embryos. So अगर इसका मैं example दूँ तो क्या दूँ? So basically there are typical again type of cells like embryonic stem cells, which are obtained from the embryos basically. So कभी-कभी ना, you must have heard, I don't know कितने लोगों ने सुना है, it is something very new topic, new field of science basically. So sometimes the embryos get aborted for some other reasons, right? There are always some complications, sometimes it get aborted. So the scientists actually had tried to obtain the cells from these embryos, and these cells were actually pluripotent stem cells. And when they were trying to give them different conditions, so अगर मैंने वो cell लिया and I gave it the conditions which are favorable for the bone formation, the cell will form a bone, like bone cell basically. If I am giving it the conditions which are favorable for the liver cell formation, the cell will form the liver cells. If I am giving it the conditions which are favorable for the neuron formation, the cells will form a neuron cell. So that kind of thing is possible with respect to the pluripotent stem cells. Okay. Now, what is multipotent? So these have a limited kind of application. So you cannot form all the different types of cells, but you can form a cells of a particular type only. So let's say hematopoietic stem cells. Hematopoietic stem cells are a type of the multipotent stem cells, but इनका ये क्या करेंगे? They can only form cells of different blood. So like they can form a RBC, they can form a WBC, they can form a platelet, but they cannot form the any other type of cell. So they can form a different types of cells, but only of a one particular type. जो एक particular lineage में जाते हैं वैसे ही सेल बना सकते हैं. It's not like कि वो particular cell से हम लोग हर कोई टाइप का सेल बना सकते हैं. That is not possible. And then unipotent stem cells are the cells which can only form one type of cell. It means अगर मेरे पास unipotent stem cell है, it will only form either cardiac cells, or it will only form a liver cell, or it can only form a pancreatic cell. So this is the based on the differentiation potential. What does it mean? कि कौन-कौन से different types के cells बना सकते हैं. Based on that, we actually classified them as a totipotent, which can form all possible cells, including the whole new organism. Pluripotent cells, it can also form all different types of cells, but cannot form a particular new organism as such. Multipotent cells, they can form cells of one particular type. So they can form either blood cells, or they can form only cells of a liver, or they can only form cells of let's say connective tissue, so they can form a bone and cartilage, that kind of things. And unipotent cells, they can have a single function. So they can only form a skin, or they can form only one type of cell. Okay. And that's why this totipotency or this potential differentiation potential of this particular cells is highly explored nowadays in the field of science. And we are trying to use this cells for a purpose of regenerative medicine and a tissue engineering. तो अगर हम लोग इसमें मतलब द रिसर्च इज गोइंग ऑन मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा स्पीड से, बट अगर हम लोग सक्सेसफुल हो जाते हैं, सो द प्रॉब्लम जो हम लोग फेस कर रहे हैं ना, लाइक वी नो द हाई डिमांड ऑफ किडनीज नहीं मिल रहा है, हाई डिमांड ऑफ लिवर नहीं मिल रहा है, देयर आर सो मेनी वेटिंग लिस्ट में, देयर आर एक्टिव वेटिंग लिस्ट. इफ यू गो ऑन ऑनलाइन एंड यू चेक द ऑथेंटिक सोर्सेस ना, यू विल गेट द नंबर एक्चुअली कि कितने लोग सीरियसली वेटिंग लिस्ट में है, दे आर वेटिंग फॉर गेटिंग अ किडनी और अ डोनर, which is not really possible. So अगर ये सक्सेसफुली हम लोग एस्टैब्लिश कर दिया सिस्टम, then these problems will surely get sorted up to a certain extent. Definitely, as every other method, even these particular cells are having some kind of limitations and all, which I will not discuss right now. But then these are having a very good potential in a medical applications, including the cure for different diseases. Yeah. Now tell me if you are having any doubt.
सर ये सेकंड पॉइंट जो है वो प्लूरिपोटेंसी है ना.
So embryonic animal cells are totipotent and termed as stem cells. So yeah, so now again यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा ये you can say these people have not given it very clearly. Actually तुम्हारे टेक्स्ट बुक में ऐसा दिया है, इसलिए मैंने वैसे ही लिखा है. But in reality क्या होता है, जो embryo है ना, even there are different stages of embryo. मतलब it's not like we all know कि okay पहले male sperm and the female egg get fused and it forms a zygote. Now अगर मैंने directly zygote को ले लिया ना, तो that will be totipotent because the zygote can form any other possible cell. But अगर मैं next level of embryo गया ना, like there is something called as blastocyst and all. तो अगर मैंने blastocyst लिया, so that will be a typical embryonic stem cell, that will not be totipotent but pluripotent. But अगर मैंने zygote लिया, the zygote will be totipotent. So यहाँ पे when they are saying the embryonic animal cells, they are typically talking about the zygote and not the later stage of embryo, because the embryo itself has a बहुत सारे stages. So depending on मैं कौन से stage का embryo ले रहा हूँ, the properties will differ.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? So see, don't take it ऐसा बहुत ज़्यादा heavily. I am telling you because it is something interesting. मतलब थोड़ा you should know. Basically, that's what I feel. But तुम्हारे book में इतना ही दिया है that these are the cells which can give rise to different types of the cell and can have a very large number of medical applications. इतना ही याद रखना है, and this is called as totipotency. Now I told you about the pluripotent, multipotent, and unipotent as well, because I feel this is important for, I think everyone should know this. And secondly, especially the people who are preparing for NEET, they should note down this अच्छे से, because these are the possible questions. Okay. So I hope there are no doubts now, and I will move ahead. So now, अभी हमने सब देख लिया, about some properties भी study कर लिया. Now get into a major thing, that is the types of a cell. So अगर मुझे cells को divide करना है, so there is a one major classification जहाँ पे हम लोग cells को classify करते हैं based on the complexity and the nucleus level का, like nucleus development. They are called as the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. So what is prokaryotes? Prokaryotes are the cells which are simple cellular organization. They are not very complex. बहुत simple होता है. And the examples of prokaryotes are bacteria and cyanobacteria. I repeat, the examples of prokaryotes are bacteria and cyanobacteria. What is eukaryotes then? Eukaryotes are more evolved and more complex type of cell, which shows very high level of complexity and high degree of organization. इनके पास बहुत सारे different types of organelles रहता है, बहुत different types of machinery रहता है, which is making the cell more and more complex. So even if you look at the structure, so you can see here bacteria, which is a prokaryotic cell. So you can see nucleoid. There is no proper nucleus, but nuclei is present, right? It is a one complex area. However, you can see there are three layers यहाँ पे. The outer yellow, the middle green and the inner ग्रे कलर. तो ये जो बाहर का लाइक येलो ग्रीन एंड जो ग्रे कलर का जो 3 लेयर्स दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द सेल एनवलप. ये 3 लेयर से बनता है. दैट इज अ glycocalyx, cell wall and cytoplasmic membrane. I will cover up the 3 layers in detail in the next slide, but for now just try to understand from the figure itself. So you can see इसके पास न्यूक्लियोइड है, सॉरी इसके पास न्यूक्लियोइड है. इट हैज अ कवरिंग दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ सेल एनवलप. यू कैन सी समथिंग लाइक ऐसा रेड कलर का बाहर आ रहा है लाइक अ थ्रेड, that is called as a flagella, which actually helps in the movement of the bacteria. And there are so many outer projections like the yellow color, just like the thread-like structure, जो small दिख रहे. It helps in the adhesion of a bacteria and the movement again. Okay, so this is a very simple structure. इसके पास इतना ही. And the बीच में जो भी बाकी का part है, that is a fluidic structure called as a cytoplasm, right? But if you go to the eukaryotic cell, I think the figure itself is more complex. You can see the central nucleus. Nucleus के अंदर there is a well developed DNA, there is a nucleolus, then there is a Golgi complex, there is an endoplasmic reticulum, there are the ribosomes, there are mitochondria, there are centrioles, vesicles, and many different types of organelles which are well developed and having a very good and specific functions. Okay, so when I talk about eukaryotic cells, what all animals are involved in a eukaryotes? Protists, fungi, animals and plants. So these all are considered as eukaryotic cells. And prokaryotes में क्या आता है? Bacteria and a cyanobacteria. So now we will start first with the in detail studies about the prokaryotic cells. So the word prokaryotic, anyone knows why the name is prokaryotic? Why it is called as prokaryotic? या ऐसे किसी का मन किया रख दिया उसका नाम, or some principle is there behind it.
Nucleus primitive है इसीलिए.
Yes, so the word prokaryotic is actually a combination of the two words, pro plus karyon. Pro मतलब primitive type and karyon मतलब nucleus. So it is having a primitive type of nucleus, and that's why it is called as a prokaryotic cell. Okay, so there are 3 important features of this prokaryotic cells. Very first is they are chemically, they are a simple structure basically, but उनका जो envelope है, that is kind of complex. So the envelope, as I shown you in a previous image as well, वहाँ पे 3 layers दिख रहे हैं, yellow, green and gray. तो हम लोग देखेंगे वो क्या है, yellow क्या है, green क्या है और gray क्या है. But for now, just keep in mind they have a complex type of a cell envelope. Okay, as we saw in the image here also, there is no well-developed nucleus. They have a nucleoid. There is no well-developed nucleus. And the third one is the membrane-bound organelles like mitochondria, Golgi, and all. जो हमने देखे थे in the case of eukaryotes are completely absent in case of the prokaryotic cells. Okay.
हेलो सर,
Yes.
उसमें न्यूक्लियस का मेम्ब्रेन भी नहीं होता ना?
Yes. So even the prokaryote does not have a properly developed, like there is no nucleus in nuclear membrane as well. They don't have properly developed nucleus. It is just some kind of region जहाँ पे उनका DNA रहता है, which is called as a nucleoid. There is no nuclear membrane as well. So nuclear membrane is also absent. That is correct. And they also don't have any kind of membrane-bound cell organelles. Okay. So I have till now it is clear. So you can again have a look on the diagram. So this is a typical bacterial cell जिसके पास एक अच्छा सा लंबा सा flagella है, which is actually helping in a motility. You can see there is a cytosol, blue color का है. Within the cytosol you will find something called as nucleoid here, the chromosome of the cell. So in case of bacteria, they have a single circular DNA. Okay, and that's why we generally say that bacteria के पास सिर्फ एक ही क्रोमोसोम है, because उनके पास सिर्फ एक ही DNA है जो भी सर्कुलर है और हाईली कॉइल्ड रहता है. How many chromosomes do we have? हमारे पास कितने क्रोमोसोम्स हैं?
46.
Yes, 46, right? So we are having 46 chromosomes because we are highly evolved. Human beings are, I think, the most evolved species on the earth currently. So, but these bacteria are very primitive type of organisms, and that's why they have a single circular DNA. Our DNA is not circular. Apna DNA is linear, but in local DNA is a circular DNA. Okay, so you can see it is called as nucleoid region then. Then they have shown presence of ribosomes, which are also present in human beings. But then the only difference is the ribosomes in case of prokaryotes are 70S type, and in case of eukaryote are 80S type. Now I understand तुम लोग को अभी तक 70S 80S क्या है पता नहीं. Fair enough. We will discuss it जब भी हम लोग और डिटेल में जाके पढ़ेंगे, because we will study ribosomes and all in detail. But for now, just I'm telling you, there is a differences in the types of ribosome present in a prokaryote and a eukaryote. Okay. As I mentioned previously also, इन लोग के पास जो cell envelope है, that is the covering of the cell, so complex है, अब वो क्या complexity है, that we will study. And then you will find something like plasmid and all. For this moment, I am skipping the part of plasmid. ये हम लोग सबसे last में discuss करेंगे. Okay. So this is a yes.
तो एक फ्लैगेलम
Flagellum is typical like a structure. Flagellum is a structure which actually moves. So now bacteria actually can move it, and the movement of flagellum actually helps the bacteria to move forward. So it is a kind of motility organ, you can say. या उसको जो movement करने में help करता है. That is why that is जो organ or organelle we can say helps in a bacteria for movement is called as a flagellum. So the flagellum actually responsible for a motility of a bacteria. It will help the bacteria to move from one place to the next place.
yes sir.
Yeah. Can you explain the third point? Yes, the membrane bound cell organelles wala point. So what do I mean by the membrane bound cell organelles are absent? तो तुम लोग को यहाँ पे कहीं भी दिख रहा है क्या? There is nothing like mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, or endoplasmic reticulum, and like typical membrane bound organelle जो हमें पता है कि mitochondria is something जो होना ही चाहिए, which is a powerhouse of the cell जो हम लोग बचपन से पढ़ रहे हैं, but it is not present because the bacteria does not have इतना सारा energy to maintain the इतना सारा system. तो इनका system is very simple and they do not show presence of all this type of cell organelles. That's why the point is mentioned that the membrane bound cell organelles are present. But in eukaryotic cells, which is a highly evolved cell, all these organelles are present. Now, even though these organelles are not present, bacteria के पास ऐसा कुछ ना कुछ तो जरूर होता है. Like they have modified themselves in such a way that even if they don't have typical mitochondria, they can produce ATP. So that's why they can get energy. अब वो कैसे होता है, क्या होता है, that we will see as we go थोड़ा in depth about the topic. But for now, the three important points are उनका envelope is very complex. They don't have a well-developed nucleus and a nuclear membrane, and the membrane-bound cell organelles are actually absent. Okay. Now there are more questions about the pili, and yes, and Pranay is asking about the food granules. So what is food granules? Food granules are actually, these are typical granular structure, मतलब particle like structure जो बैक्टीरिया अपने बॉडी में रखता है for storing different kind of polymers or let's say protein. तो ना जब भी उसके पास कुछ रहेगा excess of food, it can actually store in form of this particular granules, and whenever they require energy और उनके पास food नहीं है, they can just utilize the food which is actually stored in this particular granules. That's why it is called as food granules जो बैक्टीरिया के पास रहते हैं. So they generally use it for storing, let's say, some kind of carbohydrates or some kind of proteins and all. So these are actually used for storing different types of food. Okay, and it is actually very beneficial for us. बैक्टीरिया के लिए तो बहुत काम का है ही, but I'm just telling you out of the like curiosity now. So there are many research, like a lot of research is going on जहाँ पे ना बैक्टीरिया जो स्टोर करता है ना different types of food, उसको हम लोग extract करके we have shown different applications of such kind of things. So different kind of polymers are actually synthesized by a bacteria and we are utilized for different cosmetics and the food industries and all. So that kind of thing is actually obtained from this particular food granules and all. Okay, and then now what is pili? So they have mentioned that pili But there is one more term comes along with the pili called as fimbriae. Now this pili and fimbriae, ना, these are also a kind of projection like structure जो ऐसे मतलब उसके बॉडी के ऊपर like kind of small threads like structure which which actually helps in a which actually helps the bacteria to make a contact with the other type of bacteria. So other there are some other kind of bacteria. So actually the pili may actually help the bacteria to contact the other type of bacteria. So it actually helps in a contact, we can say communication purpose. So now you say, why does the bacteria need to communicate? It's very obvious question, and I think most of you must be thinking this. कि क्यों उसको करना है communicate? Because sometimes na bacteria can contact each other, communicate with each other, and they can transfer some kind of molecules with each other. So they can even transfer a DNA using a pili. Okay, and that is called as a horizontal gene transfer. I will not go in detail because I think it is very early stage for you to go in a horizontal gene transfer and vertical gene transfer and all. But then just for your information, I'm telling the pili is actually helping the bacteria to communicate with the other types of bacteria. Okay, and there is something called as fimbriae. So fimbriae is actually helping the bacteria for adhesion. So अगर bacteria को किसी के साथ attach करना है, then the fimbriae will help you. Okay, now we will discuss all of this in detail, so don't worry if you are not getting it at this point, because each and every point will be discussed in detail. But till this slide ऐसा कुछ है जो नहीं समझा है and you want me to give more explanation and clarification about it? And if you feel we are going very fast, please let me know so that I can just go with the flow. No doubts till now? Then I will move forward. Yeah. कोई कुछ बोल रहा है क्या? I can just hear some noise थोड़ा बहुत, but I could not hear exactly कुछ बोला है तो. No? So मैं start करूँ now next slide to explain about the cell envelope. All
Yes,
okay?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes.
So now from last 5 to 10 minutes I am saying that कि जो उसका सेल एनवलप है वो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स है, वो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स है, वो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स है. मैंने डायग्राम में भी दिखाया कि देयर आर 3 लेयर्स, एक था ग्रीन कलर का, एक था येलो कलर का, एक था ग्रे कलर का. But why is this complexity? Okay, because why we are calling that the cell envelope is a complex, because the cell envelope, even though we are calling it the covering of the bacteria or a cell, it itself is composed of 3 different layers. So that's why the cell envelope in prokaryotes is composed of 3 different layers. Now what are these 3 different layers? It includes glycocalyx, which is the outermost layer. It includes the middle layer, that is the cell wall of a bacteria or a prokaryotic cell. It includes the innermost layer, that is called as the plasma membrane. So that's why, as it is composed of the different layers, we said that the prokaryotic cells have a complex type of cell envelope. Now, what is the function of glycocalyx, cell wall, and the membrane? क्यों चाहिए ना, मतलब there has to be some kind of फायदा, because ना I would like to tell you one thing. ये जो बैक्टीरिया है ना, ये बहुत चालू होते हैं, like any other prokaryotic cells. So bacteria is a prime example. That's why I keep on talking about the bacteria always. Why? Because ना अगर there is something ना जो उनके फायदे का नहीं रहेगा ना, they will not do the such thing. वो लोग पूरा completely avoid करेंगे. Why? Because पहले से ये सबसे छोटे सेल्स हैं, इनके पास ना तो बहुत ज़्यादा एनर्जी रहता है, तो जो भी एनर्जी इनके पास रहता है, they try to utilize it very sharply. बहुत दिमाग लगा के, they cannot just afford to lose energy ऐसे कि हाँ मैं ये भी करता हूँ, मैं वो भी करता हूँ, like 100 things, like they cannot involve in 100 different things and then lose their energy whatever they are having. So they have to be very precise and very careful while doing any kind of activity. तो जब तक कुछ फायदा नहीं है, they will not have any kind of activity basically, apart from that normal metabolic function. So even this formation of glycocalyx, cell wall, plasma membrane is a complex process. It's not like very simple thing. But then why do bacteria prefer to have glycocalyx? उसको क्यों चाहिए glycocalyx? अगर उसको कवरिंग भी चाहिए बॉडी के लिए, so I think one layer would have been sufficient for the bacteria to protect basically. Although that is the only purpose. But still it is having three different layers. So there has to be some specific reasons behind why the bacteria is having glycocalyx, why it is having a cell wall, and why it is having a plasma membrane. So सबसे पहले I will talk about the glycocalyx. So glycocalyx, it is the outermost layer which is generally composed of a polysaccharide. Okay, what is polysaccharide? Polysaccharides मतलब complex type of sugars. Okay, so glyco, the word glyco, whenever the word glyco comes, it means sugar. Okay, so the glycocalyx is actually polysaccharides which are present at the outermost layer of the cell, and they can be present in a two forms. So it can be either present as a very loose kind of covering, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं slime layer. It is very loose kind of covering, or it can be a very tight and perfectly organized covering which is called as a capsule. Okay, so I have put here one image. I hope you all can see it very clearly. So एक पिंक कलर का बैकग्राउंड है, बीच में जरा सा डार्क पिंक कलर का और लेट्स से पर्पल कलर का लाइंस है, और you can see a clear hollow around that particular line. Can you see that thing?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That clear hollow जो दिख रहा है ना, that clear space जो दिख रहा है ना, that is actually a capsule. So most of the bacteria shows presence of the capsule. What do you think? What can be the purpose of the glycocalyx, like the slime layer or a capsule bacteria? क्या कर सकता है इससे? क्या फायदा होता है बैक्टीरिया का? As I mentioned, bacteria कोई भी काम फोकट में करता नहीं. It has to have some kind of benefits, and that's why it is forming this slime layer or capsule. So tell me, why? What do you think? Like anything, I don't expect a scientific answer, but तुम लोगों को क्या लगता है? अगर उसके पास स्लाइम लेयर होगा तो वो किस काम के लिए उसको फायदा हो सकता है? अगर इट इज हैविंग अ स्लाइम लेयर एट आउटर एज आउटर कवर. No, no guesses, no prediction, nothing you can think right now.
No.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. So I will tell you why.
प्रोटेक्शन के लिए.
Yes, protection तो उसका एक purpose है. That is always there. The entire cell envelope we can say is kind of protection to the bacteria. But there are some in-detail functioning or specific functions which are associated with the glycocalyx. So as I mentioned, there are two forms of glycocalyx. Either it can be a slime layer or a capsule. So the slime layer is the outer covering of the like the loose layer जो रहेगा ना उसके present bacteria के, that actually helps the bacteria for adhesion. So attached to the substrate. Okay, that is the one purpose. Second, so it can actually form a biofilm. So the if you can search on a Google whenever you get time, just search as a biofilm and you get many different images. So this particular biofilm formation can be triggered or can be favored because of the presence of the slimy layer or outside the bacterial cells. And why the bacteria will prefer capsule now? You know, I will tell you one thing. अगर किसी बैक्टीरिया के पास कैप्सूल है ना, that can be a very pathogenic bacteria. What do I mean by pathogenic? I mean very harmful kind of bacteria. Why? Anyone can tell me why is it so? No worries. So why? Because the capsule actually provides the extra protection to the bacteria. So if I am having a capsulated bacteria and a bacteria without any capsule, or by mistakenly my food is contaminated with the both capsulated and the non-capsulated bacteria, whenever I am eating the food, we all know अपने body में जो अपना जो stomach है, it contains the acid. So my body का जो the acid which is present in my body will be easily able to kill the bacteria which is not having any kind of capsule. However, जो भी बैक्टीरिया के पास कैप्सूल होगा ना, that are more resistant for the this particular acid treatment. तो वो इतना easily मरते नहीं है by this acid. They can protect themselves from the acid and the other enzymes which are present in my body. And that's how the bacteria is having a kind of protective function out of this particular capsule. वो उनको इसलिए काम help करता है. And one of these example I'm giving you, it is not mentioned in your textbook, but I'm giving you because you will study the same example in your 12th standard. So I just want to introduce you the name, that is a Streptococcus pneumoniae. This is a bacteria which causes pneumonia, and it has a outer capsule which actually responsible for its virulence. Okay, so just note down this thing. The Streptococcus pneumoniae, it is a capsulated organism and it causes a pneumonia. Okay, so that is about the different types of capsule and the slime layer which are present in the bacteria. And if I want to observe this kind of structures, I can always go for the staining. So there are specific staining called as a capsule staining, which will help me to identify कि कौन से बैक्टीरिया के पास कैप्सूल है और कौन से बैक्टीरिया के पास कैप्सूल नहीं है. So the staining can be easily done in any laboratory conditions, and you will get something like this. You will able to observe something like this under microscope. So अगर तुम लोग को ऐसा halo like the clearance दिख रहा है और halo दिख रहा है around the bacteria, it is called as a capsule. और अगर नहीं दिख रहा है, then the bacteria is not a capsulated bacteria. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Great. At any point, अगर तुम लोग को नहीं समझ आएगा, please don't hesitate. I will repeat this thing no matter what, but then don't just accept thing because मैं बोल रहा हूँ. You are always right to counter me at any point. कि ऐसा क्यों है? Why is it so? And you can ask me anything. So don't hesitate because it's important to understand rather than just accept the thing. Because just accept here, so you will tend to forget. But if you actually understand the thing, it will be there forever. So now that is the most outer layer called as glycocalyx. Now I will start the next part, that is a cell wall. But if you are having any doubt till now, you can ask me so that I can start a new part basically. So I will just take 5 more minutes because I know the time is always 7:30, but just for 5 minutes more, I will just introduce you what is cell wall and then we will continue in the next lecture. Okay. So the cell wall is the second most important layer in a bacterial cell envelope. It is generally made up of peptidoglycan. Please highlight this, note down this, whatever you can do it, because this is a very commonly asked question as a MCQ, as a 1 mark question and all. The bacterial cell wall or the prokaryotic cell wall is composed of what? So the answer is a peptidoglycan. Now what is a peptidoglycan? Can you tell me? Is it protein? It is a lipid? It is a carbohydrate? क्या हो सकता है?
Carbohydrate.
Yes, so you are partially correct. So because the word glycan is there, so as I mentioned, जहाँ पे glyco और glycan आता है, it means वहाँ पे carbohydrate तो होना ही है. But यहाँ पे it is a peptidoglycan, and when I say peptido or a peptide, something related to the protein. So basically, it is a carbohydrate which is having some peptide or some small proteins in between. Okay, so that is what it is called as a peptidoglycan. It is a carbohydrate. Okay. So
लिपिड नहीं होता ना सर?
नहीं, there are no lipids in a cell wall.
Okay sir.
Yes, lipids are present in a cell membrane. So the next topic we will discuss about the cell membrane. At that time I will explain you about the lipids. But in case of cell wall, it is a carbohydrate only. Okay, with small peptides. Now, why do we need a cell wall? As someone already had mentioned, that the protection. The cell wall also gives a kind of protection to the cell, and it actually gives a mechanical strength to the cell, so that the cell will not get easily damaged by the external stress or a pressure. So that is one of the important function of a cell wall. और अगर मुझे, and if you remember in the last lecture, something I was talking about the gram staining and all. और मैंने बोला कि we will talk about the gram staining when we will discussing about the cell wall. So if I want to study कोई भी bacteria gram staining is the सबसे important and सबसे basic thing to do सबसे पहले. नो मैटर तुम लोग कितना भी एडवांस लेवल का स्टडी कर रहे हो, यू आर डूइंग वॉट एवर यू वॉन्ट टू डू, बट ग्राम स्टेनिंग इज समथिंग लाइक मस्ट टू डू. You have to check out whether your bacteria is gram positive or a gram negative bacteria. Now, on what basis do we call it gram positive or gram negative? So, obviously, as we are discussing about the cell wall, so we can classify the bacteria or based on the cell wall into two main categories called as a gram positive bacteria and gram negative bacteria. Okay. Now, what exactly the kind of differences are present in a cell wall and why we call it gram positive and gram negative? That we will be discussing in our next lecture, because if we start now, we need at least 10-15 minutes. So, it will be better to start freshly in the next class. So, tomorrow we will be continuing about the cell wall. But if you are having any doubt, I will be happy to answer.
No doubt.
Sir.
No doubt.
Yeah. Anyone else?